with today. Yeah, so it will be more comfortable for you. So I think that we can start now. So, and here the presentation is, so one more time. Hello, everyone. My name is Ягуфарова Irina Vladislavovna, and I'm a teacher assistant in the Institute of International Education of Moscow State Pedagogical University. So today's the topic of our webinar is concerning the Russian state exam. So, and exactly the tasks from 12 to 18 from a reading part. And these tasks, they're connected with understanding the information presented in the text. So now I wanted to give you a few information concerning this task. Yeah, so usually the tasks from 12 to 18, they are presented in the form of a question where you have 4 possible answers and only one variant is right. Or you may have the beginning of the sentence that you need to finish. Yeah, so you need to choose one right, the end of the sentence. So the questions they're usually presented in the order in which the information is presented in the text. Yeah, so for example, the answer to the first question we have in the first paragraph, then after this answer to the first question, we have the answer to the second question, and etc. So the questions, they check detailed understanding of the text. So actually these tasks, they are the kind of the most complicated, the most difficult tasks of this exam, and students usually struggle with it. And these questions, these tasks, they check analytical skills, the abilities to find logical connections in the sentences and in paragraphs of a particular text, and the ability to make conclusions from the information that is presented in this text, and the ability to guess the meaning of the particular word from the context. So, and I wanted to give some tips of how to do these tasks. So the first one is that when you start doing this task, you should read the text quickly in order to get the main idea. So you know that you have this time limit on the exams. So that's why for the first reading, you need to read it quickly, yeah, just to get the main idea of the particular text. So when you read the question, for example, like the first one, yeah, so try to answer it on your own without looking on the given variants. Yeah, so you read the question, try to find the information in the text. And only after that, you may look through the given variants. So don't try to find the exact words or phrases that the question contains, yeah, because it's actually one of the most popular mistakes the students have, and that's why they have problems with these tasks. So try to find synonyms that express the same idea, because the authors of the exams, they paraphrase the ideas from the text in the questions. So that's why I try to find the synonyms, yeah, that express the same ideas that the question contains. So the next one, if you can't determine the correct answer, use the exception method. So some tasks, they're quite complicated and they're quite controversial. So in this case, it's better to use the exception method. So you read the first answer and you see that this one is not logical, yeah, according to the information that is presented in the text. For example, the second one, we don't have any information in the text concerning the second answer. Yeah, and you see that the next one is probably the right one. Yeah, so here we use the exception method. So if you can't consciously choose any of the proposed variants, don't understand the meaning of the question, choose the answer intuitively, but don't leave the task unanswered. So, and if you don't know the word, try to guess its meaning from the context. So it's not necessary to know all the words in the text. Yeah, so the main idea here is the ability to guess the meaning of a particular word from the context, from other sentences that are given, from the whole idea of the text in general. So, and the last question can be referred to the whole text. So you know that usually the questions are presented in the order the information is presented in the text, but usually the last question can be referred to the whole text, yeah, to the whole information that is presented there. So now let's have some practice, and we will start with one of the texts. So it's called Hayao Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli. So probably you have watched some of his films. So now you have about 2 questions to read these texts quickly, and now and after that we are going to do some practical tasks together. So you have about 2 questions. You have about 2 minutes, sorry. Oops, sorry. So have you finished? If you have finished, could you please write plus in the chat to let me know that we can continue? Oh, Okay, so let's wait for a few seconds. By the way, don't forget that you have an attached document in the chat with the text that are presented here. So if it is more comfortable for you, you may open this document. Well, so now let's go to the questions. So, and we have question number 12. So the first one, sorry. So the name of Miyazaki's studio has nothing to do with. So here is the most important word is nothing. Yes, so we should choose that variant that is not mentioned in the text. So now let's analyze the first paragraph. So we see, so the name Ghibli came from the Libyan Arabic word that referred to a hot desert wind. Miyazaki chose the name because he believed that his studio would blow a new wind through the anime industry, which he felt had been lacking in recent years. It's also the name of an Italian aircraft. So now let's look through the variants. So the first one is the aviation industry. So, and we are going back to the paragraph. So we see that the name Ghibli is also the name of an Italian aircraft. So this variant is not possible, yeah, because the studio is named, yeah, and its name is connected with the aviation industry. So let's go to the second variant, so the anime industry. And here we see in this paragraph that Miyazaki chose this name because he believed that his studio would blow a new wind through the anime industry. Yeah, so his studio is connected with the production of anime films, yeah, anime cartoons. So that's why we see that actually the anime industry is the right variant, yeah, because it's connected with the studio. So the next variant here, the Arabic language. And we see that the name Ghibli came from the Libyan Arabic word. So of course, here we see the connection with the Arabic language. So, and what about the Japanese history? So do we have here any information concerning the Japanese history? So actually no, yeah, you see here we have no information about Japanese history. So, and the answer to this question, the name of Miyazaki studio has nothing to do with, and the right answer is the Japanese history, because we have no information about it in the paragraph. So let's go to the next task. So it's number 13. So according to the article, in the 1940s, Japanese women. So probably this information is presented in the second paragraph, yeah, because the first one we have already analyzed. So now please read the second paragraph. So we need to find the information about women in 1940s, yeah, in Japan. So, and here we have this sentence. She was an intellectual and strict woman who often questions the societal roles placed on women during that period in Japan. Yeah, so during the 40s in Japan. And Miyazaki's childhood inspired a lot of the elements of his films. And we see that most of his protagonists are strong women or girls. So, and let's go back to the question now. So the first variant is, Japanese women often suffered from tuberculosis. Do we have any information about it? Actually, we have, but we see that Miyazaki's mother was diagnosed with spinal tuberculosis. Yeah, but we don't have any information about other women. So this variant is the wrong one. So what about the second one? Replaced men in factories and plants. So do we have any information concerning this? Could you please write it in the chat? Yeah, yes or no? Do we have any information concerning it? Women on factories. Well, and yeah, no information. So we see that actually this variant is the wrong one. The next one, had to fulfill traditional family roles. And we see, again, we are going back to this sentence. She was an intellectual and strict woman who often questioned the societal roles placed on women during that period in Japan. So actually societal roles here mean the role of women, yeah, as a woman, as a mother, as a worker, and here we have had to fulfill traditional family roles. Yeah, so, and here the information is that women often questions the societal roles, yeah? So we see that actually this one is the most suitable one, yeah, because they're questioning their roles, so women had to fulfill traditional family roles, not only as a mother over women, but also, yeah, as a person who can work, yeah, as a man. So, and what about the last one? Women were allowed to be a fighter pilots. Do you have any information concerning women being pilots? Actually, so what about the chat? So no. Yeah, so we see that this variant is also wrong. So, and the right one is number 3. Yeah, Japanese women had to fulfill traditional family roles. Yeah, because they questioned their social roles, yeah, at that time. So let's move to the next one. So question number 14. Which of the following doesn't characterize Miyazaki's films? So, and this information we have in the 3rd paragraph. So could you please read it, yeah, in details? So, and the first variant here is social problems are among their topics. So, what about Miyazaki's films and social problems? And here in the paragraph with characteristics of Miyazaki's films, we have this information. Yeah, Miyazaki's films portray complex themes of environmentalism, pacifism, feminism, and the complexity of people. So we see that actually his films, they characterize social problems. So what about the next one? They show the fight between good and evil. So, and here we have this information. Yeah, the last sentence of the 3rd paragraph. None of his characters are portrayed as purely evil. Instead, the motivations of the characters are explored, showing their actions in shades of gray. So we see that we don't have some evil characters. So that's why we don't actually have the fight between good and evil. So, and we see that these sentence, yeah, doesn't characterize Miyazaki's films because we have the information vice versa. Yeah, we don't have evil characters in the films. So now let's look for the 3rd and the 4th variants, yeah, to make sure that they are wrong ones. So his films do not have any continuation. And here we have the information that his films were full-length animation feature films. And a kind of no information, yeah, so they have any continuation. Yeah, so it just was a full-length animation film. Yeah, so it's not like a series of films. So this one is a wrong variant. And what about the last one? Artists draw detailed backgrounds for his films. So do we have any information about it? So, and we again look on this paragraph and we see that his films feature beautifully detailed renditions of landscapes, which are a combination of the views he saw and etc. Yeah, so we see that actually we have this detailed landscapes, so detailed backgrounds. So this one is actually, so this variant characterizes, yeah, characterizes his films. So only the 2nd one doesn't characterize, yeah, his films. So the 2nd one is the wrong one. So what about number 15? So here we should work with the meaning of the word. So the word contemplative in the 4th paragraph is closest in meaning to the word. And now let's look through the variants, yeah? So we have thoughtful, repetitive, unpleasant, monotonous. If you know the meaning of this word, it's great, yeah? But actually this word is kind of for upper intermediate level or advanced level of English. So that's why for many students, it can be quite difficult when they meet this word in the text on the exam. So that's why it's, in this case, we should guess the meaning of the word from the context. So we need the fourth paragraph. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So here it is. So could you please read this paragraph and find this word here? So, as you see, we have this word at the end of the paragraph. The producer in charge of the film's distribution wanted to cut some of the slower, contemplative scenes from the film to make it more marketable. So now let's analyze the context, in order to guess the meaning of this word. So, the main idea here is that Miyazaki doesn't like to cut his films. So if you watch his films, you know that actually they are quite long. They're about 2 hours length. So, and he doesn't like to cut his films, and in compare with Western film companies, because they always edit their films, and actually we see that the producer of the Western company wanted to cut some of their slower contemplative scenes from the film to make it more marketable. So how do you understand this word, more marketable? So you need to think about it. So, and on the exam, and we see that marketable means something that is close to the market, close to the audience, available to the audience. So the audience will understand this film, and you know that actually in general the audience doesn't like when the film is kind of too long, so they wanted to make it shorter and more available, so the audience would understand it better. So, and now let's go back to the meaning, to the presented meanings here, so the first one is thoughtful, the second one is repetitive, the third one is unpleasant, and the fourth one is monotonous. I see that someone. Okay, so the variant is, people think that it's the second one. So let's see. Can we use unpleasant here? Slow, unpleasant scenes. Well, no, because actually this one is a kind of unpleasant scenes. Slow and unpleasant, they are quite different, quite different words. So unpleasant is probably not the right variant here. Well, so what about repetitive and monotonous? So we see that actually these words, they're kind of synonyms to each other. So repetitive is a synonym to the word monotonous. So kind of, because something that always repeats, it's can be monotonous, for people. And because these two words, they're kind of synonyms to each other, can be quite difficult, to choose between the second and the fourth one. But you see that some of you, I see it in the chat, that you think that can be the second or the fourth one. So, and before we will know the right answer, so let's analyze the first one, thoughtful. So, and let's go back to the paragraph. Well, here it is. To cut some of the slower contemplative scenes from the film to make it more marketable, to make it available for the market, available for the audience, so the audience will understand it. So you know, when the film is too complicated, I mean the plot is too complicated, it's quite difficult to understand it, and actually some people, they don't like to watch some difficult films because they can't get the main idea, because it's too slow and it's too complicated, it's quite puzzling for them. So that's why it's quite difficult to understand. And here if we replace the word contemplative, using the word thoughtful, so the slower, thoughtful scenes from the film to make it more marketable. Yeah, so thoughtful scenes, so scenes that can be quite difficult to understand. So that's why we see that actually thoughtful is a synonym to the word contemplative. And what about repetitive and monotonous? Because they are synonyms, it can be quite difficult, yeah, for you to choose. So because they are kind of the same in meaning. So that's why in this case, when you see that variants, they are quite close to each other, so try to choose the variant that is a bit different in meaning. Yeah, so what about thoughtful? So we see that thoughtful is suitable here. Yeah, and according to the meaning, according to the context of this sentence, we can actually use this word, yeah, instead of contemplative. And if you look in the dictionary, so contemplative means something that a kind of involving some thinking process, yeah. So, and actually thoughtful is a synonym to the word contemplative, yeah, because contemplative, according to the meaning in the dictionary, is the same, yeah, because it's something that involving thinking skills. So that's why thoughtful is the best variant here. Yeah, so this question is quite complicated. Yeah, so I see that someone has written, yeah, it's too hard. Yeah, this one is very complicated. So here you should analyze. If you don't know this word, you should guess it from the context. Yeah, analyze each word. So here, happened? I can't turn back to the slide. Just a second. Yeah. So here we have to make it more marketable. Yeah, to make it like that market, the audience would understand it. Yeah, so that's why contemplative is close to thoughtful. Yeah, and repetitive and monotonous, they are synonyms. Yeah, so actually, if you choose the second one, you may then tell the commission that the fourth one is also right, because they're quite close to each other. Yeah, in this case, it's better to choose the first one. Yeah, because it's also appropriate and it's a bit different, yeah, from the these that are presented here. So, and contemplative, yeah, the synonym to the thoughtful. So let's go further, and the next question is number 16. So why did Miyazaki send a summarized word to Disney Studio? So, and we have discussed this information now. Yeah, and the last sentence in this paragraph is that in response to this, yeah, that Western company wanted to cut some of the films, so Studio Ghibli sent a letter saying no cuts. Yeah, and attached to this letter was an authentic medieval Japanese samurai sword. So no cuts. So you see this word is connected with cutting, yeah? So, and let's analyze the variants that are presented here. So the first one, he was threatening to kill the producer. Actually, this one sounds a bit kind of not probable, yeah, because of course the studio, the famous studio, didn't want to kill, yeah, a famous producer. So of course this one is wrong. To thank the producer for his work. So here, according to the information that is presented in the text, we have nothing to thank for, yeah, because they wanted to cut, yeah, some of the scenes from the film. So of course we can't thank, yeah, for this. The next one is a traditional Japanese business gift. So do we have any information concerning business gift here in the text? Could you please write it in the chat? So let's see. No, yeah, we have no information. Yeah, so we don't know about it. So that's why, according to the text, we can't choose this variant. Yeah. Well, and the last one is, it was a joke to show he was serious. So you see that actually, what do we do with this word? We cut. Yes, so, and we see that the letter contained the information no cuts, and a sword was attached to this letter. So we see that obviously it was a joke, yeah, to show that he was serious, to show that he didn't want his films to be cut, yeah, by their company. So the fourth variant is the right one here. So what about the next question? Question number 17. By saying the Studio Ghibli uses hand-drawn animation, the author of the article implies that their films, and we have full variants here, are old-fashioned, high quality, are expensive to make, and take too long to make. So, and this information is presented in the last paragraph, so could you please read it? So you see that in this sentence, Studio Ghibli is one of the few major studios in the world that still employs a hand-drawn animation technique. So, and the first variant is that they're old-fashioned. Actually, we don't have this information, yeah, that their author means that they're old-fashioned, yeah, because actually they use some effects, yeah, so probably they use some modern techniques, yeah, for creation of the films. So, yeah, so I see that you have written that the second variant is right. So let's analyze it. Yeah, so they are high quality, and here in the paragraph we have, yeah, the sentence that is before that one. So, ensures that all of his films, they're of the highest standards. And then we have this information. Studio Ghibli is one of the few major studios in the world that still employs a hand-drawn animation technique. So we see that actually this one refers to the highest standards. So we may say that their films, they are of the highest quality. So the next one, the third variant, they're expensive to make. So do we have any information about it, about the price of the films? Actually, no information in this paragraph, yeah? So this one is not right, this one is wrong, yeah? And the fourth one, take too long to make. Here we have only information that Miyazaki is involved, yeah, in the production of the films, but we don't have any information about the length, yeah, the length of the film production. So actually this one is wrong too. So the second one, that their films are high quality, is the right one. So, and the last question is number 18. So let's analyze it all together. So which of the presented people does the article refer to as no longer alive? So, and we have four people here: Yasao Takehata, Hayao Miyazaki, Miyazaki's mothers, and Walt Disney. So, as no longer alive, yeah, so this person is dead. And we have this information in the article, yeah? So we should have this information in the article, so we just need to find it. So let's start with the last one, yeah, with Walt Disney. So do we have any information about Walt Disney in the text? So what about the chat? No information, yeah, because we see that Disney company dubbed some of the films, but we don't have any information concerning Walt Disney, so we don't know, yeah. So, and this variant is the wrong one, yeah, because we don't know about Walt Disney. In the articles there is no information. Well, what about Miyazaki's mother? So I see that some of you has written that the third one is the right one. Well, let's see. And we have here this information about his mother is presented in the second paragraph. So she was born in Tokyo. It's about his mother. Yeah, this one. His mother was diagnosed with a spinal tuberculosis and spent several years in the hospital before moving back home and eventually recovering. She was an intellectual and strict woman who often questioned. So we see that she was ill, then she recovered, then she came back home. Yes, she recovered, but we don't know if she is dead or alive? We see that she was intellectual, yeah, but maybe now she's a kind of old and maybe now she's not so strict, yeah, we don't know about it, we don't have any information, yeah, if she's dead or alive. So that's why we can't choose this variant, because we don't have this information in the text. We don't know, maybe she's alive, yeah, there is no information about it in the text. So what about the second one, Hayao Miyazaki? Again, we see that actually he is working, yeah, on his films, and we have information that he was trying to retire for 6 times, but still he's working now in his company. Yeah, so we see that he's alive. Well, and what about Yasao Takehata? So who is Yasao Takehata? And information about him we have in the first paragraph. Yeah, we see that the mastermind behind the studio is Hayao Miyazaki, who co-founded the studio with the late Yasao Takehata. So we see that this person, he was a co-founder of Ghibli Studio. So, and here, if you look attentively on this sentence, you will see the phrase here, with the late Yasao Takehata. So how do you understand it? The late Yasao Takehata. Late. This word has several meanings, actually, late. It's not just like the late, you know, like late time. So actually, the word late means that the person is no longer alive, that the person is dead. So the late, this word, yeah, this word shows us that this person is dead. And we have this information in the text. So if we have it in the text, so it's for 100% that it's the right variant. Yeah, so the late means that the person is dead. So, and this information is proved, yeah, in the text by this word, the late, and that's why the first variant is the right one. So, which of the following people does the article refer to as no longer alive? The article referred to Yasao Takehata because it said with the late Yasao Takehata. Yeah, because he is dead. Yeah, according to the information that is presented in the article. So, and about Miyazaki's mother, we don't know. Yeah, we know that she was ill, she recovered, but what about her now? We don't have any information. So, and in the article, yeah, the article refers only to Yasao Takehata, yeah, by using the word the late Yasao Takehata. Well, so this is it. So now we will work with the second text. And this text is called The Culture Shock of Being an International Student. So again, now you have about 2 minutes to read this text quickly, and then we will do some tasks all together. Yeah, the tasks from 12 to 18. So could you please read? You have about 2 minutes. When you finish, could you please write plus in the chat, yeah, to let me know. So have you finished? No, one person is finished, so let's wait for others. Please don't forget that you don't need to read in details, yeah, for now. So now you just quickly read to get the main idea, yeah? Don't pay attention to the details. Because on the exam, you don't have enough time for everything, so. Well, so let's go to the questions. Just a second. So, question number 12. So, when she moved to Scotland, the student was mostly confused by. So, we have television shows, small unexpected things, the local food, and the weather. Yes, so we see that in the text we have a student who moved from the Netherlands to Scotland, yeah, to study. So, and she was confused by. Let's see. For any students, moving away from home can be a bit scary, but I didn't expect student life in Scotland to be all that different from my home of the Netherlands. After all, we all get the same news and TV shows online. So you see, concerning the first variant television shows, they are the same. Yeah, the same in Scotland and in the Netherlands. So many students find the Northwest climate can affect them a lot. You will find the grayness and dampness, especially during the winter months, difficult to get used to. So we see that many students, they find the climate a bit different, yeah, and this climate can affect them. But we don't have any information about the student who is telling us this story. We see that many students, they are affected by the climate, but not our student, like the student that is telling this story for us. So, and the next information here, yeah, the next sentence. However, when I moved from Amsterdam to study at the University of Stirling, I began to realize a few minor issues were catching me off balance. Yeah, so catching me off balance, it's something that makes you uncomfortable, makes you feel unusual, yeah, about something. So, and we see that actually these few minor issues, they're connected with small unexpected things. What about the local food? So we don't have any information about the local food. And what about the weather that many students find that it can affect, but not this person, yeah? So these students is confused by small unexpected things. Yeah, and we have this information here. A few minor issues were catching me off the balance. So small unexpected things, yeah, so she was confused by this small unexpected things. So what about number 13? Which of the following wasn't mentioned as the reason of author's culture shock? Yeah, so 3 of these things, they were mentioned, and only the one wasn't mentioned. So for this, you need to read the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th paragraph, yeah, to find this information. So could you please read it in details? So, what about the first variant? Local food. And here we have that it took me 2 Christmases to figure out that mince pies are not actually filled with minced beef. Yeah, So pies and beef. So here we have that one of her culture shocks was connected with the local food. Yeah, we've connected with the local food. So what about the next one? Traffic jams. Do we have any information about traffic jams? We see that she has some problems, yeah, with public transport, but nothing about traffic jams. So this variant wasn't mentioned as a reason, yeah, for author's culture shock. But let's check the third and the fourth variants. So living on campus. So we see that she was surprised by the campus life in the UK. So it was one of the reasons for her culture shock. So this one was mentioned in the text. And what about language problems? We see that she had the linguistic barrier. Yeah, so, and of course, she was also kind of influenced by this factor. So it was also the reason for her culture shock. Yeah, so we see that the local food was mentioned, living on campus was mentioned, language problems were mentioned, and traffic jams wasn't mentioned as a reason for author's culture shock. They wasn't mentioned in general, yeah, in the text. So the second variant is the wrong one. Well, what about number 14? So the word daunting in a daunting task in the third paragraph is closest in meaning to. So again, probably you don't know this word. So now we need to guess the meaning of this word from the context. And we have 4 variants here. Discouraging, extremely easy, impossible, and comfortable. So let's go back to the context. So we had this word in the third paragraph. Yeah, the linguistic barrier meant that public transport was tricky at first. I found the lack information about bus prices and how and where to get tickets really surprising. It turned a simple 15-minute journey into a daunting task. So you see that actually she her journey was about 15 minutes. It was a simple journey, but because of her language problems, yeah, because of the language barrier, it was daunting for her. So, so what about comfortable? This variant, of course, is wrong because, of course, this variant is wrong, yeah, because it wasn't comfortable, yeah, because it was difficult for her. What about impossible? Again, this one is not impossible because actually it was possible, yeah, it was long, it was difficult for her, but still it was possible, yeah, because actually she uses this public transport, yeah, even with some language barriers, yeah, language problems. Extremely easy. So this one is, of course, wrong because it wasn't easy for her. We see that a simple task turned into a daunting task. So probably here, the first variant is the right one, discouraging. And if you look in the dictionary, so you'll find out that daunting is actually the synonym to the word discouraging. Yeah, so, and here, discouraging is the most suitable one. So extremely easy, impossible, comfortable, they are not right even according to the context, yeah? Because here we see that it was difficult for her, it was kind of a complicated task. Yeah, so it was discouraging or it was a daunting task. So what about question number 15? So in the 4th paragraph, and then I had to adjust to and blah, blah, blah. Yes, so we'll go back to the text and we'll see this sentence. The author stresses that it was difficult for her to get used to. So let's read this paragraph, yeah? And then we will look through the variants. So just a second. So the 4th paragraph, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, this one. Then I had to adjust to new social life. Yeah, could you please reread this paragraph? So, and let's go back to the variants. Then I had to adjust to doing sports where she lived. So here we have the information that in in the UK, so you have one campus, yeah, where you may study, you may live, and you may exercise, yeah, like all in the same place. So actually, we see that it wasn't a kind of, just a second, so it wasn't quite difficult for her, and like she didn't need to adjust to it, yeah? So it wasn't like a problem, it wasn't a culture shock for her. So what about the next one? Having few social activities. So do we have any information concerning social activities? About some new social activities. Could you please write in the chat, yes or no? So, no, yeah. Actually, no information, yeah, about social activities. So this variant is the wrong one. Well, what about the next one? Living in the same place all the time. We see that actually she was kind of living and exercise all the time in the same place, but still you don't need like to be there 24/7. If you never leave campus if you don't want to. So if you want, you may leave it. Yeah, so it's not obligatory to stay there all the time. So you may live also somewhere else. Yeah, and what about the next one? Just a second. So always being around the same people. And here we have this information. I had to adapt to everyone being so close to each other all the time. And why? Like, why is everyone so close all the time? So we have this information, yeah, in these sentences, because in the UK, you have your, like in one campus, you have everything. Yeah, you have university, you have a kind of residential area where you can live, and a sports area where you can exercise. So it was difficult for her, so she had to adapt to everyone being so close to each other all the time. So that's why she had to adjust to a new social life, because she was with the same people all the time. Yeah, and they were like with the same people and in the same place. So that's why, that's why number 4 is the right one. Yeah, so she had, so it was difficult for her to get used to always being around the same people, because she had to adapt to it, yeah, being with the same people all the time. So, and the next one, question number 16. According to the author, parties she got used to in the Netherlands. So, let's read this paragraph, yeah, concerning parties in the Netherlands. Yeah, so it's this one. Yeah, paragraph number 5. Parties are different here too. So could you please read this paragraph? Yeah, to see this difference between the parties in the Netherlands and parties in the UK. So we see here that the main difference here, that in the Netherlands, the less effort you put into getting ready, the better. So we see that the character, yeah, often wears something casual, yet for parties in the Netherlands, while in the UK, partying is more formal. Yeah, so you have to wear some formal dress, yeah, so, and the whole event is quite formal. And we see the parties finish early and everyone just wanders off. So we see that there is a difference, yeah? And the first difference is in the attitude, yeah? Because in Netherlands, it's something that is simple, casual, so you don't need to get ready, yes? So you wear your casual clothes, while in the UK, partying is more formal. So according to the author, parties she got used to in the Netherlands. They required greater expenses, So is this variant right? Of course, no, because vice versa. Parties in the UK required greater expenses, yeah, because you have to buy a dress, you have to buy shoes, yeah. So this is it. So the second one, made her feel uncomfortable. So do we have any information about it? Actually, no, we see that she got used to parties in the Netherlands because actually she's from the Netherlands. So of course it was comfortable for her. So what about number 3? Started and finished earlier. So we see that actually parties in the UK, they finish early. Yeah, parties in the UK finish early, but not in the Netherlands. So that's why this variant is wrong. And the last one, parties in the Netherlands, they allowed casual clothing. And actually this one is right, because we see that the less effort you put into getting ready, the better. Yeah, I'd normally sleep on my trusty Converse shoes, along with some clothes I could get away with wearing to class tomorrow. Yes, wear minimal makeup. Yeah, so some casual clothes. So we see that parties in the Netherlands, they allowed for casual clothing. So you don't need to wear a dress, shoes, yeah, and all these formal things. So what about the next one, number 17? Which of the following statements, according to the author, is true about international students in Sterling? So let's see. Here we have this information, yeah, this paragraph. So, however, I have found lots of pleasant surprises. So could you please read this paragraph, yeah, to find the information? So, and now let's see the possible answers. So, which of the following statements is true, yeah, about international students in Sterling? They don't dress up as well as locals. Well, do we have any information about it? Yes or no? Could you please write in the chat? We have no. No, yeah, actually we have no information, yeah? So this one cannot be the right one. Well, the next one, they don't talk to strangers. So what about international students, yeah? We see here that my friend Agnes was taken aback by how social people are. She says she was shocked when complete strangers started talking to her at the bus stop. So we see that for foreign students, it was shocking, yeah, that strangers started talking to them. But can we say that they don't talk to strangers? No, we don't have this information. We have information that it was unusual for them, yeah, it was shocking for them that strangers talked to them. But still, they didn't they were not silent, yeah, so of course they answered, so they tried to interact, but it was shocking for them, yeah, that the stranger can talk to them. So this one actually is not true. So we don't have this information that they don't talk to strangers, yeah. The next one, they may experience many positive cultural surprises. And we see it here. However, I have found lots of pleasant surprises in the UK too, and so have many other international students. So we see that the character and other students, they have found lots of pleasant surprises. For example, her friend, yeah, she was shocked by how sociable people are. And speaking about our character, we see that I personally was surprised by how smartly male students in Sterling dress compared to my home country. So you see that everyone has found lots of pleasant surprises for him. So that's why number 3 is probably, yeah, the right one. They may experience many positive surprises. Yeah, but it's probably because we haven't analyzed the last variant. Their eating habits are different. Well, do we have any information concerning eating habits here in this paragraph? No information. Yeah, so that's why you're right. Yeah, the right variant is the third one. They may experience many positive cultural surprises. Yeah, but for each student, it can be different. Yeah, for different students, their surprises are different because they have different cultures. The international students, they came from different countries. So they find different things surprising and shocking for them. So, and the last question, the expression the ones in most of the ones I experienced in the 7th paragraph, in the last one, refers to. And here we have 4 variants. Yeah, so let's look for them and then I will read the paragraph. We have culture shocks, studies abroad, feelings about friends, and gap years. Well, let's read this paragraph. Yeah, the last one. Here it is. Culture shock can knock your confidence. So could you please read this one? And here we have this sentence. Looking back, most of the ones I experienced, so the ones, yeah, what does it mean? The ones I experienced made good stories to tell my friend. So now let's, oh, okay, so I see that you have answered. So not on, it was the previous one, yeah, sorry. So let's see the variants again. Well, culture shocks, studies abroad, yeah, feelings about friends, and gap years. So what about gap years? Here we don't have any information about it. Like studies suggest taking a gap year or studying abroad that can positively influence. But we don't have information that the character has this gap year. So this one is not, so here we don't mean a gap year, yeah, the ones. What about studying abroad? So the same, yeah, because studies suggest that taking a gap year or studying abroad can positively influence your brain. Yeah, looking back, most of the ones. It's not studies abroad because it's your first time, yeah, so it's only one time, it's not the ones, yeah, so here we have several things if we speak about the ones, yeah, so it's plural form. Well, what about, I forgot what the second variant, just a second. It was feelings about your friends. Well, no information about feelings, yeah? We have just that something, yeah, made good stories to tell my friends. So, but not feelings. And we see that the main idea of this paragraph is culture shocks. Yeah, because here we are discussing this culture shock. Yeah, culture shock can knock your confidence in the beginning. Yeah, but you're not alone in taking time to adapt as soon as you start to come to grips with all your experiences. So, and we see that a kind of studying abroad, gap year can influence, yeah, kind of on your personality. But here, looking back, most of the ones, and here in the text, culture shocks were described. Yes, so the character described culture shocks that she has experienced, that he or she has experienced. So looking back, most of the culture shocks that she or he has experienced made good stories to tell my friend. Yeah, so here we are talking about culture shocks. Yeah, and we see that culture shocks can knock your confidence at the beginning, as it happens with our character. Yeah, so here in the text, she described what happened, yeah, with her and what influenced, yeah, this culture shocks and her attitude to everything. But still, now it's kind of the basis for her stories that she can tell her friends. So this is it, yeah. And the right variant here is culture shocks. So now we will finish working with text, and actually now it's time to finish. So do you have any questions? So if you have any questions, you're free to ask. Well, okay, no questions. So I hope that it was useful, that you have practiced these tasks, and I hope that these practice would be useful in your exam experience. So I wish you good luck, and of course I wish you to pass all of your exams successfully. So thank you very much and goodbye.